Please help me welcome the Deputy City Attorney, Akili Nickson.
Good afternoon, everybody. As Vicar just told you, I work for the LA City Attorney's Office, and you guys heard from my boss earlier, who is sitting in the back. And something I want to mention about my boss while he's here, and this particular type of enforcement action. The Neighborhood Prosecutor, in fact, let's start with this. The Neighborhood Prosecutor Program in the City of LA is designed to allow more hands-on enforcement of the criminal laws, because we're actually in the neighborhoods in which we work. I actually work in the 77th Division Police Station. For those that don't know, 77th Division is the heart of South Central LA. It's on Florence and Broadway. It is in the middle of everything. We have a very active jail. I think that's the right word, active. Business is good. And in that division, I, as a neighborhood prosecutor, am faced with real public safety issues every day. I had a boss before the one I have today who, although he was the city's chief prosecutor, he himself had not been a prosecutor in the past, and so criminal issues and issues that involved investigation, enforcement, prosecution weren't really the priority. I was told shortly after the new administration took office, they said, Akili, your handcuffs are off now. I came from a trial team. I'm a prosecutor's guy. I was told, do your thing, lock them up, do your investigations, don't hold back. You don't have to worry about doing murals at schools. You don't have to teach dancing classes to kids. Do your prosecution work. The new administration likes this stuff. He is a prosecutor himself. He's a prosecutor's prosecutor. So to the extent that since the new administration, my boss came into office, and I've had a little more of a green light for my direct supervisors to focus on investigation and prosecution of criminal issues, this is what directly led to this. And I'm going to tell you, every prosecution agency is not enforcing these statutes. You guys know that, right? In fact, you also know they've never been. In fact, they were so new that when we were booking people, these crimes were not in the DABA system, the CalCrim system, or the LifeScan system. That means no one had ever been booked on any of these charges in the history of this state. It's just us. The LA City Attorney's Office is leading the efforts in this area. Now let me tell you why we care. The reason we care is because a police station is not just a place to drum up business if that's where you're getting clients. A police station is a place where people come to report crimes. They come for shelter. They come for safe harbor. Some of them are victims of domestic violence. People who come to a police station, oftentimes they are victims of abuse. The crimes you guys can't imagine, or you actually can't imagine in this room. People come to the station because oftentimes they're victims. They want to report crime. Well, they can't do that when, as they're trying to walk up to the station, they get accosted by what we call guerrilla marketers. Now, we don't have a problem with people soliciting business. In fact, the insurance code anticipates that there will be solicitation. It specifically talks about how that solicitation is to be done. What we have a problem with is when the public safety is threatened. When there are fights on the very steps of our station. We've had over 20 reports of assault on the steps of our stations. Bail bondsmen against bail bondsmen in just the last 6 months. We've had cars vandalized, windows shot out, trying to kill each other out there. All for business. I get it. But we're not going to allow it. So I'm letting you all know, we are not going to allow it. So I'm going to skip some of these things because you guys already know what guerrilla marketing is, right? It is people that use street-side, sidewalk solicitation to gain business. in a very, very aggressive manner. Over the years, people have tried to address the problem, and every time they have been intimidated, either by lawsuits or by attorneys. A long time ago, back in 2002, the city was going to try, the city of LA was going to try to start getting some control over the solicitation that was occurring outside of jails. Well, just the thought, which means no one had been prosecuted, no one had even been investigated, but just the threat that the city was going to put an end to this, we got a letter from an attorney. That letter was addressed to, I actually have that letter. That letter was addressed to Captain Lang way back 8 years ago, telling him basically, if you think about stopping what we're doing, we're going to sue you. Well, the captain back then didn't heed that warning, and the city, in fact, was sued successfully. I have that lawsuit as well. I've done my homework. After the city was sued, nothing was done for about 7 years. Then, over that course of time, the problem got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, until about a year ago, as Vera told you, I gave her a call and I said, hey, there's chaos in front of my police station. Can you point me in the right direction? She said, yeah, but you're probably not going to do anything. But yeah. And she pointed me to the insurance code. Now, as prosecutors, I'll tell you something you guys may not know. We prosecute violations of the penal code every day. We prosecute violations of the muni code every day. We prosecute violations of the business and professions code every day. But one thing we do not do, we don't prosecute the insurance code. It's not something we use very much. It's not something that, as criminal prosecutors, we use often. And so I dove into the insurance code with one goal, and that was to learn it cold and to find out if what was going on in front of my station was illegal. And I found out very quickly that it was absolutely illegal. It wasn't hard to figure that out. Let's talk about some of the stuff. So once I realized that what was going on was entirely illegal, I had to talk with the captain, because you really need law enforcement to be a partner in these types of things. Captain Green, the 77th Division, said, you have all the resources you need. Fix this. You have full resources, you have all my vice officers, you have my detectives. Anything you need, you have. I then made a call to the California Department of Insurance, spoke with their chief counsel, spoke with their chief of investigations, Ben Montes, Kim Johnson-Woods, got them on board. Then I reached out to the council office to let them know we were going to be doing something creative. Spoke to the mayor's office. Spoke to kind of all the players to kind of let them know that the city attorney's office was going to be leading the investigation and enforcement of some statutes that had never really been enforced before in the state. And then we spent about the next year and a half perfecting exactly what could be done. So,